voice and tone. The first-person narration is intimate and immersive. You feel the tension in his grip, the ache in his silence, the slow burn of his reclaiming peace. Pacing. The narrative flows naturally, transitioning from confrontation to escape, from peace to disruption and back to quiet resolve. Details and imagery. From floor-to-ceiling windows to the burn slide down my throat, the scenes come alive. The Santorini setting is more than backdrop. It mirrors the internal shift of the narrator. Opportunities for refinement. Paragraph structure. Currently, the piece reads like a continuous stream. Breaking it into paragraphs would improve readability and emphasize emotional beats. For example, separate the initial confrontation, the departure, the arrival, and the revelation about the wedding collapse into distinct sections. Tighten repetition. A few ideas are revisited multiple times, like being left off the wedding list or the piece of Santorini. Consider trimming slightly or varying the phrasing to maintain momentum. Character balance. Jillian and Camille are painted harshly, which fits the narrator's emotional lens. If your goal is nuance, you might add a small moment where he questions why they made those choices or reflects on past dynamics more deeply. Ending impact. The massage scene is a nice metaphorical and literal release. You might consider ending on a single resonant sentence, something like, "I didn't know what tomorrow held, but for once, it would be mine." Excuses, always excuses. But outside, the sea whispered, and at 1440 the air was clean. They'd had their fairy tale day, or tried to, and it blew up in their faces. I wasn't smug, but I wasn't sorry either. I'd spent years holding it all together, paying bills, calming fights, keeping everyone afloat. And the one time I stepped away, it crumbled. That should have made me feel important. It didn't. It made me glad I was here, not there. The massage ended. I walked out looser, lighter. The sun was still high overhead. I grabbed a gyro from a stand, greasy and warm, and sat on a bench overlooking the water. I ate slowly. My phone stayed silent in my pocket. I didn't check it. Whatever they wanted could wait. That evening, I sat on the balcony, the sky fading to deep purple as the sun slipped below the horizon. A glass of dry red wine in hand, the kind the waiter had suggested, I let the day settle. I'd walked the cliffs, let the sun burn the tension from my chest. It didn't feel like an escape anymore. It felt like something more. Then Jillian's name lit up my screen. 3 voicemails left that afternoon. I sighed, set down the wine, and stared at the phone. Curiosity won. I hit play. The first, sharp, scolding. "I don't know where you are, but this is ridiculous. If you'd been here, maybe Camille wouldn't have felt so cornered. Call me back." The second, guilt-laced. "I'm sorry, okay? I didn't think it would turn out like this. We need to talk." The third, clipped, annoyed. "Fine. Keep ignoring us. This isn't helping anyone." Cornered? So it was my fault now? I almost laughed, but it came out bitter. Jillian had always been good at that, twisting things, making me feel like the bad guy for not being somewhere I wasn't wanted to begin with. Then Camille tried FaceTiming. Her name flashed, her picture, still that old high school graduation photo where she hugged me without hesitation. I declined and turned the phone face down. My chest tightened. I took a sip of wine and let the heat burn it away. They didn't get to do this. Not now. Not after making it so clear I wasn't part of the plan. Minutes later, a text from Aunt Noel. "Hey, just so you know, things might have gone differently. If you'd been here to keep the balance. Camille's a mess. Call her." Keep the balance, that's what they called it. Me keeping the peace, paying the bills, driving the car, calming the storms. I was the one who didn't yell back when Jillian snapped. Who didn't walk out when Camille stopped saying thank you? And now, the one time I stepped away, they realized how much they leaned on me. Too late. I finished the wine and poured another. The sea shimmered under moonlight. I could have called Camille back. I could have picked up and told her it would all be okay, like I always did. I could have let Jillian convince me to come home. But I didn't. For the first time, I didn't feel the pull to fix it. I liked this. The distance, the quiet, the freedom. Theo had told me what happened. Bryce storming off, Jillian scrambling, Camille breaking down. I could picture it. The panic, the mess, them looking around for someone to fix it, for me. But I wasn't there, and they didn't know how to handle it. Good. I went inside. The villa was cool and calm. The bed was waiting, sheets crisp and clean. I wasn't their hero anymore. Not tonight. Not ever again. I was at a seaside restaurant that night. Wobbly wooden tables, lanterns flickering. The air smelled like salt and grilled fish. A plate of octopus, shrimp, and something white I couldn't name sat in front of me, all drizzled with lemon and olive oil. I'd spent the day swimming off a black sand beach, letting the waves beat the thoughts out of me. Now, with a glass of white wine in hand, I felt good. Better than good. Then my phone rang. Rose. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me to. "Hey," I said. She didn't say hello, just laughed, deep, joyful. "Oh my God, you missed a show." She described the wedding disaster in delicious detail, Camille sobbing in her dress, Jillian trying to fake it with a frozen smile, Colin slurring at the bartender, Noel blaming Jillian loud enough for guests to hear, the DJ leaving early. "They didn't know what to do without you," Rose said. "It was like watching ants after you kick the hill." I grinned, chewing a piece of octopus slowly. I wasn't surprised. I'd been the glue, the one who kept everything upright. Now, without me, collapse. I didn't feel bad. I felt satisfied. "They didn't want you there until they needed you," Rose said. "I'm proud of you for staying gone." I swallowed, took a sip of wine. "Yeah," I said. "Me too." The next morning, the villa was quiet again. I woke with the sun striping the room, birds chirping outside. Day 6. Coffee in hand, I checked my phone. An email from Jillian. No subject. No greeting. "You've made your point. Come home so we can talk." My jaw clenched. Made my point? Like this was a tantrum. Like I booked a flight halfway across. The world to teach a lesson. No apology. No accountability. Just the usual tone. Get over it. A second message. This one from Camille. "Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I let Mom and Bryce's family talk me into the family-only thing. I should have fought for you. Please call me. I hate this." Guilt flickered, brief, faint. But where was this when she made the guest list? I didn't reply. I messaged Jillian instead, extended my stay. Then I turned the phone off. Let them sit with that. I wandered the waking streets of Oya. Shopkeepers swept their steps. Tourists snapped photos. I stopped at a cafe. Coffee, pastry, the kind flaked with honey and nuts. I ate slowly, the crumbs falling wherever they wanted. Back home, I imagined Jillian pacing, Camille biting her nails, saying, "He'll come around. He always does." Not this time. I walked until I found a low wall above the sea. Sat. Let my legs dangle. The wind tugged at me. They still didn't see. They thought I'd come running, because they snapped their fingers. Because I always did. But this wasn't a tantrum. This was me choosing myself. That night, I lay in bed, windows open to the sea. The villa was quiet. the sheets cool. I thought of all the years I'd faded into the background, birthdays they forgot, introductions that made me sound like furniture. Just Dad. I remembered Camille's recitals in the rain, fixing Jillian's car, paying for ballet shoes, prom dresses, graduation dinners. They thanked the waiter more than me. Every fight, I was the calm after. Every storm, I was the one who swept up. And now, they could clean their own mess. I closed my eyes, the sea whispering outside. For the first time in years, I felt seen, by me. And that was enough. Sure, here's a refined and emotionally grounded rewrite of your piece, preserving its themes of transformation, quiet strength, and reclaiming selfhood. I've shaped it into a first-person reflective narrative, with natural flow and clean pacing, keeping the intimacy and emotional authenticity intact. They used to laugh about it later. Oh, Dee's so boring, always so serious. And I'd smile because that's just how it was. I leaned back in the chair, coffee going cold in my hands, staring out at the sea. Boring. That's what they called it, me keeping everything together. Me making sure they had what they needed. I'd been the backdrop to their lives, the steady frame while they painted whatever picture they wanted. And what did I get? A shrug, a politely worded excuse, a wedding guest list with my name scratched off. I set the mug down and stood walking to the edge of the balcony, stone rough under my palms. I thought about that wedding, how they planned it without me, how they smiled and posed and never once asked what I thought. For years I'd imagined that day, walking Camille down the aisle, giving a toast, feeling like I mattered. But that's not how they saw me. They saw me as the one who'd show up anyway, the one who'd fix it if something went wrong, the one who'd take the hit and keep quiet. Not anymore. I turned, grabbed my sandals, and walked out. The streets of Oya were just waking up, vendors calling, the smell of fresh bread drifting from a bakery. I didn't have a destination, just kept walking. Whitewashed alleys, climbing sun. I passed a small art shop and paused, watching the artist dab at his canvas. He didn't notice me, just kept painting, lost in his own world. I envied that. Not just being part of something, being it. I kept walking until I found a bench overlooking the water, sat there, let it all rise in my chest, the years of being invisible, of giving everything and asking for nothing. Not just the wedding, everything. Time, money, patience. And what had they given me? Not even a seat at the table. When I finally stood, the sun had climbed overhead. I was hungry. I found a taverna, ordered grilled fish and a beer, ate alone, watched the sea. I wasn't the backdrop here. I was here. The next morning, the sea woke me again, gentle and steady. My 8th day in Santorini. Something had shifted. Not everything, but enough. I made coffee, stepped onto the balcony. The air was clean, the sun soft. It felt like a beginning. I packed light, just a towel, water, sandals, and followed a winding path to a beach tucked between cliffs. Black sand, clear water. Almost empty. A woman sat near the surf reading. I swam. Let the salt and tide pull at me. Felt strong, free. When I came back, dripping and breathless, she looked up and smiled. "Good swim?" she asked, her voice warm, lightly accented. "Best part of the day so far," I said. Her name was Serena, a widow, traveling solo. We sat on the sand, swapped stories, no pressure, no performances. She told me about her son, now off at university. I told her about Camille, just the early days, the recital, the late-night talks. We both knew what it was like to pour everything into someone and be left standing still when they moved on. Later, we shared a glass of white wine at a seaside shack. Talked about what it means to always be the responsible one, to be loved but never really seen. She understood without needing the details. There was no fixing in it, just being. We walked back to the water as the sun dipped, our glasses in hand, silence stretching between us, comfortable, real. For once, I wasn't aching to be noticed. I just was, and that was enough. That night, I posted a photo. Me, wine in hand, sea behind me. Captioned it. Turns out overreacting feels a lot like peace. No checking for likes, no waiting for responses. I just leaned on the railing and let her laugh echo in my memory. On my last day, the sun was already high when I woke. I made coffee and watched the sea sparkle. I wasn't the same man who stepped off that plane, angry, hurt, desperate to be needed. Now I felt solid, whole. I took a final hike along the cliffs, felt the sun on my back, the wind on my face. At the top, my phone buzzed. Camille again. Third missed call that week. I didn't answer. Back at the villa, I packed slowly, left her one voicemail. When you're ready to talk like a daughter and not a PR crisis, call me. That was all. I checked out. The taxi was waiting. The flight home was long, but I didn't mind. I stared out at the clouds, feeling a quiet strength settle in. Jillian was gone when I got there. Her things, too. And the house didn't feel empty. It felt clean. The next morning, I pulled out the wedding suit I'd meant to wear for Camille. Pressed, hung for months. I took it to a charity shop. Let it go. Later, I found a flyer in the mailbox. A local hiking group. I called, signed up, marked the date. That night, I cooked myself dinner. Steak, simply done. Ate at the table. No distractions. Just me. They'd had their wedding, their chaos, their day, and I'd had mine. If they thought I was overreacting, let them. I wasn't the backdrop anymore. I was the whole damn story.